So LEVR.bet is our company. We founded it with a team of sports betting quants and professional DeFi traders with an aim to innovate into sports betting something new, fresh, and exciting for users that doesn't currently exist. And we do this on the back of offering not only superior odds, but leverage to users, which lets them make more money on the same bet that they would traditionally make. And so when we look at Web3 GambleFi, we look at a bunch of challenges that have caused adoption in the space to not take hold in the way that we think it should have. First and foremost above these is lack of transparency. Almost all Web3 sportsbooks right now operate a centralized exchange model, which doesn't push trust into their user base. They can do things like KYC erroneously, just wins after they've been deemed a win, back to a loss, and just otherwise cause a lack of trust. And everything in our mind should be on chain and fully provably fair. There's also low liquidity in the space. And because of that, that offers low deployment for capital into odds ranges without those odds changing, which really causes a lack of users in the space. There's also a lack of passive involvement. Because most of them are centralized exchange models, there's not a lot of room for users to come in that are not sports bettors and to participate in the product, and this causes a lack of user audience and downsizes the ability for market into traditional DeFi. And there's also, most importantly, a lack of innovation. Again, most of the traditional, most of the Web3 sportsbooks right now operate in a traditional manner, which is really just a port over from Web 2 with crypto payment rails. It's not innovative, and you can't compete with traditional casinos in that manner. Enter LEVR.bet. Not only do we run a fully transparent book that is completely on-chain from liquidations to the order book to the odds setting, we also run passive earnings, so users can stake into our vault or stake our token for revenue potential, which means DeFi users can come in and participate that don't actually sports bet. We also have pooled liquidity vaults, solving the liquidity issue. In our exchange, we can offer thousands of dollars where others can offer tens or hundreds of dollars on the same capital deployment, mostly because we operate under the principles of an AM, but also pooled liquidity vault. And most importantly, we have innovated where no one else has. We are the first in not only Web3, but also in the world, leverage sportsbook. And what this means is that we can offer users better odds than every other sportsbook in existence because we operate on the fee set of a perp dex, not the fee set of a sportsbook. And so what is the opportunity here? Well, in traditional gambling, the revenue model is about $100 billion a year for above board and about twice that for illicit market. And on the Web3 front, that model is growing about 11% per year. So the market here is huge. On top of that, we look at the Web3 market. There's been over 100,000 individual unique addresses that have participated in GambleFi over the last 18 months, most of it in the last 12 months, and they do not have a project they're evangelicalized to. So there is a rather large user base sitting there ready to adopt a platform that comes to them with something unique and innovative. And then when we look at capturing the market, Lever is set up exactly how it needs to be to capture this market in totality. We can offer better odds than almost any other book in existence consistently. We can offer bettors a more exciting experience, and we can innovate where others can't. And so our business model is pretty simple. We split half the revenue with our token stakers into the vault that provide USDC capital to back the house portions of the product that is the technical counterparty to the leverage positions. The other 50% of revenue goes to Lever token stakers, the DAO, and our referral pool. And so what does that mean? What it really means is, let's take an example. We scheduled out an NBA season, it's 1,230 games. If we were to offer 3 markets on those 1,230 games, money line, handicap, and over-under, and we got 50% available liquidity usage. Just on that one sport, on one season, we would produce over 120% vault revenue, vault TVL revenue, right? And that is one of the most powerful sources of income for stablecoin depositors in DeFi. And so over the last year, we've deployed not only our initial beta test, which was on Avalanche and now moving over to Monad. We had 1,000 users through there. We learned what we needed to adjust, went back to the drawing board, adjusted it. We've now portioned ourselves perfectly to rock our go-to-market with our real beta test onto Monad testnet here, hopefully happening in October. We'll roll live into mainnet, where our goal is to put liquidity into the vaults, to put liquidity into the markets on the in-game market, and then to push into a multi-chain expansion. So our multi-chain expansion will be powered by Layer 0 using their relays. We'll expand into Solana, other EVM ecosystems, try and capture as much Gamblify as possible. But the real goal here is to take a Web3 product to retail in a way that doesn't feel like a Web3 product. And so for us, we look at how do we do that. First, we have to have the product fully functioning on its flywheels on the DeFi front so that we can bring those functioning flywheels to retail. So if we can incentivize users to get in, deposit liquidity into the vaults, we can have good liquidity that retail users can come and bet with on the front end of the product. If we can incentivize users with LEVR token rewards to participate in our in-game order book exchange, then when those retail users come to sell their positions into the market, they'll be able to clear, they'll be able to buy, and the product will just work. And for that, we think the right way to bring a product to retail market is to start in DeFi, to start in traditional Web3, and then scale into retail by reducing the complexity of the project and introducing account abstraction and payment rails that are simplified so that we can get to one-click bets. That's our ultimate goal, is one-click leverage bets. Now, let's look at what this looks like in real life. The Loom video. The video? Here we go. So we're going to walk through making a bet pregame. You can come over, check the odds. They convert into a token price between $0 and $1. So you see here, 75-cent token price. We'll hop up $100. We'll leverage it out. We'll go through. We'll make our bet. We'll see the liquidation constraints. It's all on chain, as you're seeing right now. You'll pull through, we'll go to our bet slip area where you can see your open bets currently. You can see the bets that are pending in market, what you've been liquidated on, what's coming up. And then we'll go into the most exciting part, the live game betting. And so you can see here, the odds are converted into a pricing chart.
Thank you. It's time's up. This is a very cutthroat competition here. So we're going to move straight to Q&A now for the judges, please.
Thanks. Yeah, so with the vault model you have, of course, it's either the gamblers are up, the vaults are down, or the vaults are up. And it's the P&L has to flow from one side to the other. And in a traditional sports book, if you face like a gambler that has edge, you'd reduce their size, you'd manage that appropriately so that your book is intact. How do you manage that in like a decentralized kind of fashion here with a permissionless LP model?
So first, we don't open a market as soon as the markets open IRL. So we give them time to burn off and the smarts to essentially go in and adjust the line. So where a normal market would open 72 hours before the game starts, we would open 24 hours before the game starts. So we miss that initial sharp money that is going to damage our book. Then furthermore, when the odds update, we have a funding rate engine that kicks in. If they update over a certain percentage, it gets really strict. It decays off over time. So let's say the odds update and there's a 10% change in odds. We want to make sure there's not going to be another odds update minutes after that, and we're going to hit with some sharp money. So those two things have really truncated the amount of damage that we can take, and then just traditional balancing algorithms handle the rest of it.
How does the funding rate work exactly?
So it's a mixture of local skew as well as a funding rate that's implied when the odds are updated, and it's the decay of that funding rate is based upon how large the difference between the current odds set and the new odds set is. So the bigger the difference in that odds movement, the longer the decay rate is on the funding rate.
Okay, and the funding's paid to the other side?
Yeah, the funding's paid to the other side, so that essentially, and this also happens with the local skew, so essentially we never run out of liquidity on one side. It just gets really expensive to place the purchase after about 75% of the liquidity has been used.
Okay, and is the vault like automated, or how does it?
Yeah, it's an AM model vault, so think of it like a GLP.
Okay.
But we call it MVP though.
Obviously, a lot of people like gambling. It's very popular around the world, but there are different kind of jurisdictions with different rules. do you guys plan to do anything on the regulatory front, or is it just completely on chain and you're trying to sidestep that?
So initially, the product will be restricted, so no United States users, no UK users. We take a similar approach to Polymarket with it. But our ultimate goal is to scale up into retail. And when we hit retail, we have account abstraction, and we're doing sign-ons through email or social. We're not going to be able to skip targeting Americans or UK users. And at that point, we'll move to get a gaming license and KYC.
Awesome. Thank you.